Thank you for joining us here today on Hill Country Happenings News Minutes. Extensive repaving work to improve two of New Albany's busiest streets will start Monday, November the 5th. The entire length of the Park Plaza Drive from Branton Road to Highway 30, Walmart Road, about 1.25 miles from Central Avenue from Oak Street to Interstate I-22, it's about a half a mile, will undergo these extensive repairs. On both streets, the existing pavement will be grounded down and remove soft spots, which will be repaired and new asphalt pavement will be installed. Both sections of the street will remain open to restricted traffic while the work is done. Motorists may experience delays when traffic is restricted to a single lane. The repaving work is expected to last several weeks, depending primarily on the weather. It is expected that the work on Park Plaza Drive will start first. Now we offer congratulations to Houston, Mississippi for being in the Guinness Book of World Record holder for the largest cakewalk. Over 400 people, many in costume, walked and danced around the Chickasaw County Courthouse on Wednesday, October the 31st in an attempt to break the previous record of 327 people in Grand Rapids, Michigan on September the 30th, 2017. Participants walked in a line around the historic courthouse as music was played from the courthouse steps, with the instructions to stop on a numbered square when the music stopped. The person lucky enough to step on the randomly chosen square won a cupcake, and the event, which was free to enter, was organized by the Chickasaw Development Foundation with help from the First Baptist Church and First United Methodist Church there in Houston, along with the downtown merchants. This was the first year for the event, which was added to this town's annual Halloween celebration. Sean Johnson from the Chickasaw Development Foundation said that 433 people has signed the sign-up sheet at the entrance of the event. How fun! Now it's that time of year again to change back our clocks. We call it fall back because when the time changes, we gain an hour. The hour that we lost in the spring when daylight savings times changed. Now don't forget to set your clock back tonight before you go to bed. There are two new businesses that had ribbon cuttings this week, and we'll show those later in the show here. And this is great, but I noticed this morning as I was out shooting footage around town that 3 of our downtown businesses have closed. Babs Flowers and Gifts and Rick's Wig, the Tallahatchie Living, and the newest one, Something Special, has up signs today stating they're closing also. Now times change and we're sad to see the change. But we do look forward to what's going to be new in our town. The Ingomar Mounds held their annual event this past Saturday, and we'll bring you footage of that event later in the show. The Mounds offer a unique opportunity to visit the area that tells of the past. And we also visited with the Marshall County Humane Society and talked with some of the volunteers and met some of the residents of the shelter. This segment will follow in the Hill Country Happenings today, too. Now, November the 6th is a very important day. It's voting day. We encourage you to get out and exercise your rights. Let's take a moment and look at how we got our rights. Eligibility to vote in the United States is established both through the federal Constitution and by state law. Several constitutional amendments, the 15th, 19th, and 26th specifically, require that voting rights cannot be abridged on account of race, color, previous conditions of servitude, sex, or age for those above 18. Now, the Constitution as originally written did not establish all of these rights during the 1787 to 1870. And in the absence of specific federal law or constitutional provision, each state is given considerable discretion within its own respective jurisdiction. You've heard it said, freedom is not free, and in that line of thinking, we thank our military for their service to our country. And thank you for joining us here today on Hill Country Happenings News Minutes. We hope that you will follow us on Facebook and go to our Instagram account and follow us there. And subscribe to YouTube. We're trying to get 1,000 subscriptions by the end of the year. So we ask you to ask your friends and ask you to go to YouTube and subscribe. It just takes a little moment to click a button and you won't miss any of our original programming. Now please stay tuned for the rest of the show and we hope you have a wonderful week.
My name's Zach Harbin from the Ingomar County Heritage Museum. We're out here at the Indian Mounds in Ingomar, and they are using an atlatl to throw these spears like the Native Americans used to do back in the Woody period. They used to use them to hunt animals, so what they're doing is trying to hit this target from about 20 meters away, and if they do, they get points, and it's a contest, and they're going to have a competition to see who can throw it the furthest.
Down here. Come on. Right over here. Throw it out there.
I go up too high.
You do that?
I was going to say, we could probably hit the target from here, but we're throwing from back there too. It's tough.
See how far you can throw it.
Yay! I did it! Yes!
So on this table we have some period appropriate artifacts from the time when the Ingomar Mounds were built. At the bottom you have sand and tempered pottery that was covered in cord marking used to give it pots gripping, and we find quite a bit of this pottery across the site, although we don't have any evidence that they lived here. Above that we have some spear points that are also typical of what they had at this time. Most arrowheads that you find in Mississippi are not really arrowheads, but spear points rather, for spear throwing darts. And that brings me to the artifact to your right, which is a spear thrower with a hook on the end to grab a spear that can throw it as a projectile through the air, which they're doing over there. Some of these items are modern reproductions. I made some of these textiles. The textile in the frame is what's called a plain twine textile. It's probably the most common prehistoric fabric that you would see here in Mississippi and in eastern North America. We don't find many examples of it in Mississippi, but that's only because the preservation is so bad. The other textile that's bundled up in a swatch sample is the same kind of weave, but it has vertical strings made of braids. And over here we have a little basket that I plated out of some store-bought reed, but it's somewhat representative of the types of baskets they would use for their everyday hickory nut harvesting and pecan nut harvesting that they would use to fuel their food and energy they would have to use to build these mounds, which were non-everyday occurrences. Over here is a nutting stone that was used to process these nuts. They would smash the nuts, and they would not eat them straight out of the shell, but they would smash hundreds of them and then boil them in a pot to extract the meat and the oil instead of singly or one at a time, as we are wont to do.
My name is Pat Orender. I'm a volunteer with the Natural Trace Parkway, and I go around doing living history programs at events like this and at schools and museums and so forth. This display is showing prehistoric Native American stone tools, and I talk about how they were made and how the native people were to use the stone tools in their everyday life.
I'm Ann Snell. I'm from Mount Pleasant, Mississippi, and I'm a volunteer at the Marshall County Humane Society. And we're having open house here today so that we can share our high hopes with everybody who's coming by. And what we're trying to do is complete the renovation of our building. It's half done. This half is done. This half is not done. And we want to get that completed so that we can have a clinic area and some holding rooms, some isolation areas, and make the place look a lot better and be more efficient. If we can add ceilings and HVAC, it's just going to be a plus for us. So we're asking for everybody's help so that we can reach our goal. We've just started. It's way down there, and it needs to come way up here. So we appreciate anything you can do.
I'm Janine Cars with Marshall County Humane Society, and we're a small, 100% unpaid volunteers, and we assist about 150 animals per year. We only take in a few as space and volunteer time is available. Other than the ones we have at the shelter, we have a few in foster homes. We also do assist in the community when someone has a dog they're trying to help. We will sometimes provide medication for them or worming treatment. We also have a spay-neuter program, although our spay-neuter vet is out on medical leave now, but we try to help people find the right place to get their pet spay and neutered. And every pet we take in gets all the medical care they need. We sometimes even do surgery on them if needed, but every animal that comes in gets either spayed or neutered before they go out for adoption. We take care of heartworm preventative. If they do come in with heartworms, and we have a lot of that, we always treat them for heartworms, and then we keep them until they're testing negative. So we have them several months sometimes, but we do try to adopt everyone that comes in. And we have listings on our website, which is marshallcountyhumanesociety.org. And we also advertise on petfinder.com and adoptapet.com. And our adoption fee is $100 for dogs and $50 for cats. And we also work with the veterinary school at Mississippi State University, their Homeward Bound program, and about every 6 weeks we'll send 3 or 4 dogs through that program, and they end up in the Northeast, mostly New York, and they get wonderful pre-qualified homes there. So
this is Greta. She has a pending adoption, and that would be me. I'm a volunteer here along with my wife Amanda. She's the president at the moment. If you want to follow me, we'll go into the kennels. So this is Leia. She came along with Greta. She's still heartworm positive, but she should be available for adoption in the next month or two. Over here is one of our elder statesmen. This is Spike. Come here, Spike. Come here, Spike. He gets a little overwhelmed with lots of people, but he's a good dog. He has a possible pending adoption, or be a good victory for us. Let's see. We'll go this way. You'll notice some of the kennels are empty. That's because we do have dogs at our other facility, at the Byhalia facility. We have to keep these open for them in case they ever need to come to the adoption center. But we are fully booked right now. This is Teddy. He's a good boy. He's another elder statesman. He's been here for a few years. Good boy, Teddy. King is actually one of our previous adoptions. We've recently had to take him back because his owner has gotten sick and is no longer able to care for him. But we always take any of our dogs back. We always take them back if we have to. We'd much rather you bring them back to us than throw them away or sell them or something like that. This is Jasper. He's a good boy. I think he has a pending adoption once he's. Yes, he does. Mm-hmm. He's being treated for heartworms, like a lot of the dogs we get, but this is Cody. He's another long-term resident of the Marshall County Humane Society. He just needs a good home with maybe very few other dogs. He'd be a good guard for the house. Tootsie's so sweet. She is fully house trained. All the years I've been coming out with her, we never once had to clean her kennel. She always holds it up for out there, so she'd be a very perfect immediate adoption. Very sweet girl. This is Liza. She's one of our newer intakes. Liza, how you doing? This is Prancer. Hey, Prancer, how you doing? Hey, good boy. I know. He's saying hi to the camera. And that's all of our current here at the adoption center, at least. We have, like I said, we have quite a few more in our Byhalia facility.
Marshall County Humane Society also takes in cats. Right now, they have about 10 in residence. We thank them so much for speaking with us today at Hill Country Happenings.
You ready? Three. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Excited about both businesses and just welcome. So,
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Glad to be here.
all right, 1, 2, 3. You can cut it. Yeah, good. Go, Caesar.
It's like a trick candle. They were trick scissors. That's what they were. Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much. That's awesome.
Yeah, right. Hey guys, can I get y'all going just a little bit? Thanks. Good to see you. How y'all doing? Can't complain.